Okay, welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video, and welcome to the third of my sort of Friday Drivey videos, and I think this one's fixed. What do I mean about that? What the heck is a Friday Drivey video, and what the heck's going on? Why is this video so long? Well, first of all, many years ago, great YouTuber Steve Benway had a variety of talks he would do on a Friday called the Friday Talkie. We all loved it, we all miss it, and there was one that he did where he decided to mix things up. He would actually drive around, sometimes in Grand Theft Auto, sometimes in this, Paradise City, and he even did one that I thought was hilarious. He rode his horse around in Red Dead Redemption. He called it the Friday Drivey. Let me fix up my car here. There we go. And I've been sort of dabbling with doing a few of these on and off just to try it out. I know, whoa, okay, I got myself stuck. Well, I have to go fix that car again. I know that I've been watching Alan Stewart Mainmeister do Friday Waffles, his version, for years. There, fixed going backwards. And I think Alan might be taking a bit of a hiatus, it sounds like. He had intended to do one 2 weeks ago, and then things came up, and then he said in that little announcement video that I still intend on getting one the following Friday, so stay tuned. And then that one came and went that Friday. He did a Game Boy video and magazine video. He's still around, but did not get a chance to do Friday Waffle. And I thought, well, I am by no means stepping up to the plate and taking over the mantle, as I mentioned before. Whoa, where am I going? But I'd kind of like to at least dabble a bit further. Now, what's interesting is I did a couple of these. Ooh, actually, I want to smash all those red signs up there. And to do that, or if I do that, I get a trophy. That's really another motivation why I'm doing this. I did do a little Friday Drivey attempt. Whee! Oh, that was fun. About a month ago or so now. But I wasn't happy with the results, and I kind of threw in the towel briefly. I'm trying to instruct myself not to make the same mistake again, and I'm doing it again, where I talk too fast. Oh, that counts. I think because I was sort of, well, first of all, I'm playing a game that's very fast-natured. You know, it's Burnout Paradise. You want to fly around and do as much stuff as you can. But I was noticing when I played back the last couple of Friday Driveys I did, I was just talking way too fast. So this is me attempting to just calm down and relax and enjoy the drive. Whether I will be successful, I don't know. Another thing that I fixed, quote unquote, is, at least I hope, is I initially tried doing all of this stuff just pointing my camera at the TV, because I don't have any proper hardware for doing this stuff professionally. I don't have a capture card. I kind of just mess about and, you know, do things willy-nilly, and it seems to work for me. And I'm actually going to touch back on that subject toward the end of this video. The whole not having a capture card and just throwing together what I feel like doing, that's actually to do with the second half of this whole video, which is in the title. But before I get there, I just wanted to, first of all, slow down, and second of all, with regards to mentioning that it's fixed, because I had the camera pointed at the screen before, I was noticing that the image was very pixelated, didn't look very nice. So I think I've fixed that now, I hope anyway. We'll see in the final result here. I think I may have come up with a way to play this game and not be so pixely. Also, with the last one that I did, I was finding I was reflected in the camera, reflected in the TV lens, TV screen. Ooh, where's that flashing thing? Whee! Ooh, that was cool. And I might be showing up. Oh, big crash. I might be reflected in this screen again. If so, I apologize. It'll get darker out here, and then you won't notice me quite so much in the screen. Anyway, so those are the ways that I'm hoping this is now fixed, and I will be doing Friday Driveys in the future, because I do like doing these. I just got to learn to slow down, take my time. And the other reason I haven't done too many of these after the first couple is I did get some really nice comments from folks like, let's do that. No, not boost. I did get some nice comments from folks like Swifto. He was very happy to see me doing this stuff. Wait, I don't need to change my car. Alright, had to cut there because I ended up going into the junkyard and I can't actually change my vehicle. Why? Well, I did mention before, I'm actually playing this using the Nijicon controller, and it's great, but it doesn't have any D-pad capability. And once you're in the junkyard, it asks you, hey, do you want to change your car? And you have to use the D-pad. So, I had to make sure I don't go to the junkyard again. Right, where was I? Yes, some nice comments happened on the last Friday Driveys I did, but I did find that they weren't exactly huge views, and I don't know that I want to be doing this constantly every Friday. Not that it's not something I wouldn't like, not that it's hard, I'm really just playing a game and recording it, but the way my kind of schedule or the way that I upload my videos is that to dedicate one day every week for doing one video wouldn't really be, it's not realistic for me. So, oh, there's the announcer. Okay, I'm gonna have to talk over him. Anyway, so I'm certainly by no means going to be doing these Friday Driveys in replacement or to take over Alan's awesome job of doing the Friday Waffle, but I might occasionally, when I feel the need, when there's a lot of subjects like there is this time, I'm gonna, throw together a video. So, what are the main things I want to talk about in this video? First of all, other than the huge subject, which is in the title, get to that last, I wanted to talk about how, and I hit booster again, I had kind of this interesting personal experience in the last week or two. Long story short, some old friends from long ago wanted to get back together, and I kind of had to think about why. Why would I want to meet up with a bunch of friends that I've kind of lost touch with, and there was a bit of bad blood in there, some baggage involved. I thought long and hard about it, and I actually ended up doing something that happened many years ago. A similar sort of personal issue occurred where I needed to take solace. I needed to feel better about myself and the decision that I had made and that kind of stuff, and now I'm stuck here. Can I get out? Ooh, oh, it repositioned me. Haha. And what I did for that other old experience was I turned to video games for kind of inspiration and a way to feel better about myself and about where I was socially. Oh, smash it up. And way back then, what I ended up playing, or how I managed to kind of get over the social stuff, the feelings I was having of how things were not going too well. Oh, let's get that. Hang on. I want to go get that. I gotta get that billboard. Let's get over here. Nope, I want to go up there. Okay. Let's turn around. Yeah, I'm kind of leaving them all on tenterhooks, aren't I? Okay. What happened, or what I did was I decided, right, I need to find a way to kind of feel better about stuff. Get it. Yes, did it. Ha. So I kind of lost myself in a game that I'm actually going to do a video about very soon, because it's coming up on its, hey, I got a trophy for 30 billboards. Burnout billboards. Let's keep on the subject here. Yeah, the game that made me kind of get through that social stuff I had before is actually about to turn 10 years old, and I've alluded to liking it a lot. And that's the very first Assassin's Creed game. I know a lot of people don't like that first game, but and there's very good reasons why, and I'm going to go into that in my video. But for me, because I was kind of going through this bad time and feeling, I need inspiration, or I need a way to kind of lose myself in... Some people listen to music, some people put on a movie, which is what I did for this recent thing. Some people play video games, and for me, I was maybe halfway through the first Assassin's Creed at the time. Crunch! And I really found it was a great, not escapism, but more like, what would Altair do? The tough, mean, not mean, but the tough guy lead character for the first Assassin's Creed game. Like, how would he manage? He was a very glowering, kind of grim character back then, and that's what I like. I shouldn't talk too at length about that, because that's actually what my video is about. Ooh, there's another billboard over there. Anyway, but it does speak to the power of video games, and movies as well, for my recent situation, that, you can actually... They can lift you up. They can make you feel better about stuff. How do I get to this? I'm trying to figure out how to get to the billboard here. Wait a second. Do I want to go in there? Potentially. Ooh, and then I bet if I go around here. Yeah, that looks... no, maybe not. Ooh. So yes, Assassin's Creed helped me with a little bit of a dark time that I felt better about later. So, and oh dear, I survived that. Okay. And this recent thing that I ended up watching a movie to get over kind of reminded me of, like, there are times you need something to lift you up, and it can be video games, it can be movies, it can be music, etc. And I wanted to kind of talk about that before I get into the real meat of this video, the major subject, because it is kind of connected, and it's also sort of, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have a capture card. What's that all about? That actually leads into the biggie, the one that everybody was talking about a week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm kind of late to the party, but I wanted to do this on a Friday, and last Friday I'd already kind of done a big project, so I am discussing this late, but it's a universal theme that I think we all have an opinion on, and we've all been sharing our thoughts and concerns. So I'm going to get right on into that. The Immortal John Hancock, great YouTuber, and actually I really like John. I like what he does. I like the fact that somebody who defies... what all the big experts say, oh, you got to put an intro, and you got to put he has an intro, I know that. But John kind of just, he does what he wants to do. He points his camera at the screen, like I'm doing right here. No capture card stuff. And he just is very genuine. He's very much himself. And he's got tens of thousands of subscribers. Like, he's breaking all the rules, and yet doing just fine with it, and I find great inspiration in that. I think, good. I'm always thinking to myself, there are those people like, you got to focus, you got to say within the first 10 seconds, what's your video about? Do a little, trailer thing at the beginning. This video, we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed, and then the intro, and then get into it, and then have the jump cuts and the bullet points, and all of that stuff that quote unquote real YouTubers say you have to do. Ooh. John doesn't do any of that. He just plays the games, or he talks about his subjects, and he's got tons of followers, tons of subscribers. So I look to that for kind of a hope that, we don't have to be supremely professional. Oh, also as a side note, before I get into John's topic, I have found that stuff that I do that sometimes is the least professional gets the most views. Like, I've poured tons of effort into some stuff, and it's had 20, 30 views, yay. And then I've had other videos that have just skyrocketed where all I did was eat kippers for breakfast. Or I watched the Martian movie, and I thought, hey, that character in that movie does a whole bit where he survives for months just eating a potato. What would it be like just to eat a potato out of a microwave? The simplest thing. And yet it's had tens of thousands of views. And I'm like, really? That one? Very strange. And you know, I think that does speak to you don't need to do a lot of work and a lot of effort sometimes. I don't know. I'm getting off the subject. This is why they call it waffling. So John put up this video where he described, ooh, I'm in like I've never been in here before. He asked the question a lot of people have asked, are there too many YouTubers talking about stuff, whether it be, mostly video games was John's subject, and that's where a lot of the results or a lot of the replies came from, that, you know, our crowd, the people who do YouTube videos about retro gaming stuff. Oh, I've done this one. And I thought to myself, oh, I've heard this argument many times before. It's certainly by no means a new subject. He's going to say, no, of course not, the more the merrier, and he's going to call it a day, and it'll get a few views, etc., etc. But he surprised me by saying, yes, there are too many YouTubers. And I was like, wow, that is not what I expected from a reply from him. I'm just going to cruise along here. I need a drink for this one, because this would be a big one. Keep away from the junkyard. Don't go in the junkyard. Okay. So John said, yes, there are too many YouTubers. And I was flabbergasted, and I thought, you got to be crazy. His points were varied, and I'm going to go into them, because strangely, I find after thinking long and hard about it, John Hancock is both right that there are too many YouTubers, and then he's also wrong that there are too many YouTubers, and then he's also right in another way, and he's also wrong in another way. And I had to make notes of where I'm coming from on this, because it's getting foggy now, much like my subject matter. So Lactobacillus Prime did a little video where he talked about what his opinion was on what John said, and he was looking forward to video responses, etc. And I said, right, I'm doing this one. And I did bring up an example of something, and Mark had said, oh, that's a really good point. And I thought, right, this is all going to go into my big reply here. Also, just Sunday, I think it was, T-Rex Spacestation. Awesome channel, by the way. Love Ben. Please give that guy some more love. He's feeling very down in the dumps that are there too many YouTubers, and a lot of his videos that he's put a lot of effort into have not done well. I'm feeling for Ben, you know. He's letting it all kind of get him down, and I when he did his response, I thought, right. Also, he was a little bit later to the party, just like myself, and it really made me think long and hard. So, first of all, how is John Hancock right that, yes, there are too many YouTubers? I guess, John's point was basically, if your intention is to make a big splash, if you want to get a lot of subscribers, if you want to be quote-unquote successful, and that was something a lot of people like T-Rex, like Lactobacillus, they didn't like that terminology. What do you mean, be a success on YouTube? And that's up for some consideration, but John's point was, if you want to get lots of subscribers, and if you want to get, I don't know, I guess sponsored deals and that kind of stuff, if you want to be somebody with a big following, forget it. There are too many there are too many YouTubers now doing the retro thing. You're never going to make that big of a splash. And I think, yes, if that is your intention, if that's what you're aiming for with this what we do with the camera and stuff, if you want to become the next PewDiePie, yes, I agree with John. There are too many YouTubers for that to happen. It's not that it can't. There are still lots of folks who managed to make a success. One of John's fellow members of the Metal Jesus Rocks crew, Kelsey Lewin, she just started doing a YouTube channel maybe a year ago. I don't even think that long. And she's got a huge a huge number of subscribers, and I think she's even had some people approach her to do some sponsorship stuff. So, you know, it's not like it can't happen really, but it's challenging. There's no doubt about it. It is going to be hard. And I think a good description or a good way to explain both sides. No, you know what? I'll hold on to that toward the end. My final thought. Don't let me forget about TV. That'll be the last part. So, John, I think, is also wrong that there are too many YouTubers, especially doing the retro video game thing. Because this was going to be when I first saw the subject matter, I was like, oh, he's clearly going to say, no, the more the merrier. We want a lot of different discussion. We want people like Kelsey giving us a very in-depth, like, I do have to say, she really does her research. She knows her stuff. She tends to be more of kind of the NES generation and stuff, but she really knows what happened in Japan in the 80s. She puts a lot of effort into her thing, and I'm glad that, you know, it's not just people like myself who are of a certain age and a certain demographic spouting off about, you know, the same old thing that we tend to talk about. It's nice to hear people who are kind of coming at it from a fresh perspective, or fresher anyway. I mean, sure, Kelsey's perspective is very much an 80s thing. Or another member of the Metal Jesus band, Kinsey Burke, who actually has done an intro for one of my videos, by the way, back when she was up here for the Vancouver Retro Gaming Expo. Kinsey does a great bunch of stuff, and what I really like about Kinsey's videos, she pairs games with beer, which is something now, I'm sure somebody else might be doing it, but I love the way Kinsey does that. It brings a new perspective to things, and she also has this really neat, okay. She's got this neat combination of being very heavily into present day stuff and also the retro stuff, and I like that about her. I'm really hoping someday, I know that Kinsey's a huge fan of the Witcher series, especially Witcher 3, and I have a sneaky suspicion my wife would love that series, but I don't know, because I haven't gotten into it myself, and I keep hoping. I've actually sent a message to her, to Kinsey on, I think it was on Twitter, possibly. I basically said, please do a video about how awesome Witcher 3 is, because I think my wife would like that, and I think you being a woman would, you know, singing its praises would have the right kind of direction that my wife would appreciate. So, yeah, these are all other YouTubers that I'm glad we have, because they bring a new direction or a new point of view to the gaming scene, and I really like that. So my second point against John Hancock is, no, we don't have too many YouTubers. We can't have enough YouTubers talking about stuff. The more people, the merrier. That's awesome. Woo! Oh dear. That was a good chance to get another drink. Okay, now, an exact flip of the coin on what I just said. Having so many different people with so many different perspectives also makes me think, again, flip-flopping, John Hancock might be right. There are too many YouTubers, because we've actually got to a point where we can select the people that agree with us, and we can surround ourselves with the YouTube equivalent of a yes man. If I never want to hear a thing about the NES, which is true, I can do that with the huge number of YouTubers that are out there. I can almost live in a world... Well, oh, that was cool. I can almost live in a world where the NES never existed because I only watch YouTube videos about the more modern stuff that I like and the Atari 2600 and the Vectrex. I can pretend the NES never existed. In fact, I will say there are some YouTube folks out there who are awesome, I'm sure. And as soon as I see, if I see somebody new that I think, oh, I might subscribe to this person, and I go through their past videos and I see a ton of Super NES or NES games, you've already lost me. I am not going to subscribe because I really could not care less about that. And the fact that we have such a wide variety of YouTubers now means that you can almost go through this hobby with blinders on. It's a little bit... I mean, luckily it's just video games, who cares, but it's a little bit like things that are happening in the world that are more serious. Say, for example, the environmental scene. There are people who are quite easily able to bury their head in the sand and say there's no problems going on because they choose not to listen to various people who are discussing at length the problems that are going on environmentally. And that, to me, is not a healthy perspective. And yet here I am, not subscribing to people who talk about certain consoles. I'm kind of maintaining or being the very instigator of that ignorance that I dislike. So, yeah, I think, to flip-flop again, John might be right. Maybe there are too many YouTubers because you can choose whatever particular narrow, odd area that you want to study or learn about. You can do that. You don't have to. You can streamline the narrative to match whatever you believe in. And I think what I'll do is finally end the John Hancock side of things, or, well, I will say, to flip-flop for the fourth time. I had said that John is right, he's wrong, and he's right. Now I'm going to say he's wrong again. And the reason why is, and it's actually kind of what T-Rex Spacestation was mentioning, it's discouraging. To say that there are too many YouTubers, that means that new people can't try it out, and that's just not good for the hobby in general. That's you don't want to discourage people from taking a try at it, because oops, that's the brakes. Because what about people who do awesome stuff? They may choose never to get into this because they've heard, oh, there's too many YouTubers, don't even try now. And that's not a good thing. I'm very, very happy doing my videos. The fact that they get any views at all is awesome for me. I'm doing it for fun. I'm doing it for me. I'll probably talk a little about that in a sec, but if I was to listen to the people, not just John Hancock, but everybody else who's saying, don't bother, there's too many YouTubers, I'd be like, oh, well, I thought I would have had fun, but now it's like, maybe I don't even want to bother getting started. And I think that's unhealthy. I don't think that's the right kind of perspective to have. So, to cut a long flip-flop back and forth a few times, down to a decent length, John Hancock is both right, and he's wrong, and he's right, and he's wrong. Now, I did say about that, remind me to talk about TV. This is the final discussion, and it's neither proving or disproving John Hancock's point. I guess it depends on your point of view. TV, right. There is a local YouTuber, huge guy, here in Vancouver. I probably won't name names because I don't want to sound like from my small little perspective here, I'm by no means in a position to tell people how to do their hobby. But there is a local YouTuber in Vancouver who is immense. without pointing fingers, I will say he's a console gamer, and he's very happy, and I'll leave it at that. This local YouTuber with his huge number of subscribers was recently approached by a guy who was doing a video game TV show here in Vancouver for decades. He was a huge, huge star on television, on Canadian television, with his TV show. All about video games, latest reviews and discussion, and I loved watching his show. And unfortunately, I guess the reality of television being the way it is, the license for his show didn't get renewed, and he found himself not able to do the TV show anymore. So he decided to take it to where the kids are watching. He's doing YouTube. And he, probably because of the numbers, he approached this guy I talked about, this console gamer, and said, "Hey man, what are the kids doing and looking for on YouTube? I wanna make a splash." So John, we'll just call him, took him under his wing and was very appreciative and very happy and very like, yeah, this is great stuff, and let's talk about VR games, and let's discuss E3 and all this kind of stuff. Super jazzed, very, very positive experience. Loved all that. But I was listening to the two of them on a podcast together, and I'll never forget something the TV guy said that immediately, and John's reply to it was perfect. It perfectly summed up the whole argument, and I actually mentioned this on Lactobacillus Prime's video on his comment section, and he said, that's a perfect quote. So I feel it's worth saying it again in this video. So, the TV guy said to John, boy, I've had my channel up for a while, and I'm sure he only has tens of thousands of subscribers. Oh, that must be awful. Anyway, but he was like, yeah, this is YouTube's really interesting. The barrier to entry is almost non-existent. You got all these people doing this stuff, and it's a real challenge. And John laughed and he said, I know, isn't this hobby great? And I was like, yeah, that's exactly the right perspective to have. It's a hobby. You do it for fun. It's something that we do because we're passionate about the subject matter. It's something that we like. For myself personally, I care about views that I get, but even if I didn't get any views at all, I would keep making videos because I find it's a great channel for my creativity, and also it helps me, be less depressed, like the stuff I talked about at the beginning of the video here. Well, anytime I'm feeling down, I want to make a video. Yeah, let's talk about some game or try out some squid octopus salad or anything like that. Let's just make a video, get my mind off things, because what is it, John? It's a hobby. The TV guy is learning slowly that this is what the reality is of this platform, and essentially what's happened with media in general. The old days of like cable television and stuff, I don't even have cable TV anymore. I get enough through YouTube and Netflix, and we have this high definition antenna that I can pick up the local news for, weather and traffic, that kind of stuff. I'm good. I don't need cable, and unfortunately that meant the TV guy lost me as an audience member. And it sounds like from what happened with his license, he lost a lot of people. And now he's looking to YouTube to supplant that, and I'm just like, well, yeah, but John's right, man. It's a hobby. It's not. Some people can make it, and they can keep the lights on and have a bit of cash rolling in. Not much though. I mean, even the biggest YouTubers will tell you it's almost impossible to make ends meet. So the TV guy really needs to rethink his perspective. If he thinks this as a hobby, he's going to have a lot of fun. But if he's doing that, I can get that. Hang on. Let's just turn around. I can get that billboard. Yeah, if the TV guy thinks that he's going to do this and it's going to keep the lights on in whatever studio he's running and his cameraman and stuff, he's kind of mistaken. I mean, unless things radically change. it's not going to happen for you, man. I'd love it to be the case, but it's not going to happen. All right, let's get this billboard here. Hit the turbo. Punch it. Whee! There we go. Ooh. Oh, this is interesting. So I think that's about it. So I'm going to maybe close this one off. Oh, yeah, I did want to talk about the whole capture card thing as well. And how I don't care about how non-professional my stuff looks. I may someday get a capture card as well, but it's, I don't know, it's not something that I'm terribly motivated for, and I was a little bit sad when I heard T-Rex Spacestation talking about how he's put a lot of effort into, like, for example, he did a whole series of Mega Drive shoot-'em-ups, which was great. Whee! Oh, big super jump. He did a great thing about Mega Drive shoot-'em-ups. And he said it took him a long time to put that together. And he's got a capture card, and he does really professional-looking stuff, but he's finding he's a bit depressed that I guess he's not getting the views that he wants, or it's not feeling like it's worthwhile. Kelsey, who I mentioned before, she's actually, people have asked her, another super jump. People have asked her, why are you taking so long to do your videos? And in her podcast, she mentioned, well, I've got to write the script, I've got to do the research, and I'm just like, script? You're doing a script? Why are you doing a script? Ooh, I've just got the super jumps forever here. Yeah, I don't script him. Well, I've scripted occasionally when I've had to, but no scripts. Just film and have a blast. That's what it's all about. Right, anyway, so that is pretty much all I wanted to discuss. Yeah, it's been a big subject, the whole John Hancock thing, but I love John, and actually he subscribed to me ages ago, back before I think he was doing videos, and I just thought, wow, he's a big YouTuber. How did I manage to get John on my subscription list? And I really, once again, I love what he does because he defies all the rules that say, oh, you gotta have this, and you gotta have that, and I missed that jump. You know, you gotta put the little intro, well, he has an intro, as I said at the beginning. But the whole, this video is gonna be about this, and here's the snappy jump cuts. No, I like the fact that John is just filming himself, having a laugh. He's got way more subscribers than me. He's got way more subscribers than people who do all the hard work. He's a beacon of hope, in my opinion.
If you really want to annoy those snooty country...
Okay, well, that's the voiceover for the announcer, and he's starting to annoy me. And this video is going to be very long, but that's what these Friday Driveys are going to be. Again, I'm not doing this to replace the Friday Waffle or anything like that. I'm just doing this because, well, maybe they're going to be less of them for a while, and I'd like to fill the gap, but I'm sure others, like Novabug with the Friday Foursome, he might also be in there and stuff, so I just thought I would make another video here, and I'm doing so now. Right, well, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.